Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben Reeve and I'm back with another look at the footy tips for round 4 of the AFLW season. Now, last week, how did I go? I got 6 out of 9. So if it was AFL men's, I'd be really happy with that because there's a lot more up and downs. But AFL women, I think it's a little bit more predictable. The better teams are so much better than the crap teams. So 6 out of 9, not super happy with it. My ranking, not where I want it to be. I think it's in the 7,000s out of 16,000 or something like that. So nowhere near it. And a third of the season's pretty much all done. So that's a bit frustrating. So yeah, 6 out of 9, not happy with it, but I'll get better. I promise you I'm going to get better. I think I've got to stop picking Geelong, following my heart too much. I think in my head I was telling me Geelong's going to beat North Melbourne by 40 points. It didn't happen. Bit of egg on my face, but that happens, doesn't it? So what are you going to do? All right, on to the round 4 tips for this season. So the first game of the round, it's Hawks versus Melbourne. I think it's pretty obvious I'm going to tip Melbourne here. I think most people would be tipping Melbourne. Hawks don't really show enough yet. And Melbourne, I think some kind of crazy winning streak over 12 games or something like that at the moment. They just can't lose. So can't see them losing this one, and I'm going to keep picking them until they actually go off the ball a little bit. The next game is the Giants versus the Crows. Look, Giants have been okay, I suppose. Not that great, but the Crows, you just can't pick against the Crows, really. Another one of those teams, a bit like Melbourne, that you just pick them every week. And it's, maybe they'll lose 1 or 2 games a year. But they haven't really slid down the ladder much. So in the whole time they've been in the comp. So you just got to pick them every week, is my opinion on it. The next game is Carlton versus Richmond. The Blues in this one for me. Tigers are going to surprise us a bit this year. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they win this game, but they're still a reasonably young side, finding their way a little bit. But yeah, I think Carlton get the job done. I'm not super confident on this one. Not confident at all. I feel like this is one I'm going to get wrong. So maybe pick the opposite to me if you're following my advice. I'm picking Carlton. Maybe you should pick Richmond. That's all I'm saying. The next one, here we go. The big game of the round. Well, not really, because Port's rubbish. They did win on the last weekend, but Port is rubbish. And the Cats are flying, even though we did lose on the weekend. But no, I've got to pick the Cats for this one. And that's a head pick, really, easily. We haven't played Port before. This will be the first time we've matched up against them. They're relatively new to the competition, as are we, but we've got in a little bit ahead of them. So I'm picking the Cats over there. It's being played at Alberton Oval in South Australia. So, yeah, home game for Port. First game ever. Hopefully we don't come away from this with a loss. We started so well at 2-0. Now we're 2-1. If we're 2-2 at the end of this, I'll be devastated. But anyway. All right, the next game is Sydney versus the West Coast Eagles. What a crap game this one is. I'm picking Sydney just because West Coast is next level awful. You've just got to go Sydney on these ones. I don't know. Could West Coast surprise everyone and get a win finally? They're looking like... Is there a trophy for the worst team in all 3 competitions or for 2 competitions, the men and the women's? Because West Coast, if there is one, they're going for it. They're that terrible. Swans aren't a great team either, and I think they've only had 1 win in their whole history in the women's comp. But goodness me, West Coast are another level of bad. All right, the next game. This is a big one. This is the biggest game of the year so far, to my mind. North versus Brisbane. I'm tipping North. They're still top of the ladder. And Brisbane, I'm tipping North because it's in Melbourne. If this game was in Brisbane, I'd probably pick Brisbane. I can't really separate these 2 teams, so I'm just literally making my decision based on home ground advantage. So I'm interested to know how you're going with this one. Let me know in the comments, and be good to check back after the round's all done and see how we went with this one. But look, I think this will be the one that'll split the voters. Probably 70% Kangaroos, 30% Brisbane. I think. Sorry, not the voters, the tippers. That'll probably be how it sort of goes, I'd say. Some of us will get it right, some of us won't. That's how it goes. I don't think it'll be one of those games where everyone's tipping the one way. On to the next one. Essendon versus Fremantle Dockers. I'm I've loved the Dockers in the women's comp for a few years, but they're not showing me enough this year. And I like what the Bombers are putting out there. So I'm going to go with the Bombers on this one and in a home game as well. So that's my gut on that one. A couple more to go. We've got St Kilda versus Collingwood. Saints are rubbish. I cannot tip them anymore, and I'm going to have to pick the Pies on this one. I think Pies are looking pretty good. They did have a bit of an upset loss the other day, but that's okay. Still got to pick the Pies on this one. Last game of the round is the Suns versus the Western Bulldogs. Another one where I'm not super confident. And again, I'm probably just going with the safe bet of the home ground advantage and just don't see enough from the Dogs. I'm not convinced the Suns are the real deal either. But that's the way I'm leaning on this game. Anyway, what did you think of my tips? Where are you ranked on the competition? Are you somewhere in the top 1,000? If you are, let me know. Give me all your tips because I want to give me all your secrets because I'm struggling this year. I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not really down the bottom of the ladder or anything like that, but I did want to be in the top 1,000, so I'm not there yet. But anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya. Bye.